Welcome back everyone. I'm so excited for this video. In this video, we are going to take a step ahead. In the previous videos, we created NextJS REST APIs and you can see the URL is localhost. It is running on my machine right now. Now we are going to deploy everything on the internet. Stick around till the end of this video. You will get to learn many more things. So the very first step which you have to follow is open up your NextJS project. In the previous parts, we created this beautiful NextJS project. The first step which we have to do is we have to open the gitignore file. This file contains all the files which should be ignored while uploading to the GitHub. So the very first file which I'm going to ignore is .env. Why we are ignoring this file? Because it contains our database credentials and the JWT secret. Give it a quick save and let's move to the github.com. Once you log into the GitHub, you will be presented with your dashboard. Click on the profile icon and then select your repositories. Select a new repository and give this repository a name. I am going to name REST API test. Now you have to select the type of repository, public or private. I am keeping it public. Scroll down and select create repository. Now your repository is created. Let's head back to our Next.js project and then execute these commands. In your Next.js project, open up a terminal. In the terminal, the very first command which we are going to run is git init. After running git init, we have to add this repository to our GitHub. To do that, I'm going to say git add dot current directory will be initialized for GitHub. Now we have to run command git commit m and this will be our first commit. So I'm going to mark a comment as first commit. Hit enter. After running this command, run the command git branch m main and then head back to github.com. From the github.com, copy this URL and then paste this URL in your terminal. Now we have to push everything to GitHub. Copy this and push it to the GitHub. Now your repository in GitHub is created successfully. You can check that by going into your GitHub account. Click on the code on top and you should be able to see your repository. Once your repository is created on github.com, we will use this repository for our deployment. On the vercel.com, you have to create an account. You have to select a plan. I have selected hobby plan because it is free. Once you select your plan and create an account, you will be presented with this dashboard. On this dashboard, you have to select import project option in front of the GitHub. You should be able to see all your repositories from GitHub. I just created REST API test. I'm going to import this repository now. Expand the environment variable section and paste the environment variables from your Next.js project. Open up your .env file. Copy your database URL and JWT secret and paste it on vercel.com. Hit deploy. Your deployment should get started within seconds. You might face some errors during this deployment. We are going to rectify them together. As you can see, our build got failed. The reason for this failure is before building the Next.js app, system is looking for Prisma generate command to run. To perform this operation, we have to modify our package.json file. Let's go back to your GitHub repository and try to add this Prisma generate command. In your GitHub repository, look for package.json file. Under package.json file, you have got a script section. Under script, you have got build. This build command needs to get modified. Click on the pencil icon and then just before next build, add Prisma generate. Give 2 ampersand so that system should know this is the first command needs to be run, and then after next build should happen. Commit the changes. The moment you commit your changes, Vercel will understand a new commit has come to the GitHub and a new deployment will get started there. Let's go to your Vercel dashboard and see the new deployment. Click on your username, select your deployment, go to the deployments tab. You can see a new deployment got started 20 seconds back. Select this deployment and wait for this deployment to get completed. Now you can see your deployment is complete. Scroll to the top and you should be presented with your domains. Click refresh to get the domains generated by Vercel. So we have got REST API test.vercel.app. This means our app is now live. Click on this URL and you can see a NextJS application which we just created is live on the internet. Few interesting things on Vercel platform. If you go to the source tab and if you click on output, whatever you are able to see here on the left is a serverless function. If I expand the API and if I select any of the routes, if you can see the button says invoke serverless function. That means we have created a serverless function in form of a REST API. Let's go to your deployment and copy this URL. Now we are going to use this URL for all our REST API actions. Open up your Postman. In the Postman, we are going to replace everything till localhost with the new URL. In front, we have to say https:// copy this URL and change it in other APIs as well. Now let's do some testing on our APIs which are deployed on the internet. I'm so excited. Hope you are excited as well. Let's hit send. This should fail because the username already exists. Email is already taken. If I try to give test1 and test1, our user account should get created on the PlanetScale database. Finally, yes, our database is connected with our Vercel application on the internet. That is the key point here. Once your user account is created, let's try to get a authentication token. In the authentication, I'm going to pass test1, which we just created, and hit send. Now we got a token after validating all the details. If I try to pass an incorrect password, you should see an error. Invalid credentials. So you can see the APIs are working beautifully as expected. Hit send again to get a new token. Copy this token and head back to to-do REST API. In the to-do REST API, I'm going to pass the newly generated token. In the body, I'm going to say to-do from REST over the internet. Hit send. I should have changed the URL. Now hit send. A new to-do is created in the database. If I try to create one more, hit send, one more to-do is created. You can see the IDs are changing. If I try to get all of these to-dos, hit send, all the to-dos should appear for your user. So our APIs are working beautifully as expected over the internet. If you are liking our content, go to our channel WebDevWise, subscribe and support. Thank you.